I was there in the sterile silence of that waiting room when you thought you were alone, counting the rhythmic beeps of a machine that felt like a countdown to an end I never authored for you. My beloved child, I have seen every tear that fell into your pillow in the dead of night when the world was asleep, and you were wrestling with a body that felt like a prison. You have carried this weight for so long, exactly 87 days of questioning, of hoping, and then of falling into the gray abyss of chronic and permanent labels. But I am the architect of the stars and the weaver of your DNA, and I do not recognize the word permanent when it comes to your suffering. I have watched you scan your bank statements with a heavy heart, calculating the cost of treatments that only seem to buy you a few more hours of managed pain, and I want you to breathe now. Really breathe. That tightness in your chest, that phantom weight that has made your shoulders stoop, I am reaching out to lift it right this second. You have felt so isolated, as if your illness created a glass wall between you and the vibrant life everyone else seems to be living. You've watched them from a distance, smiling through the agony so they wouldn't feel uncomfortable, but I saw the exhaustion behind your eyes. I was there when you whispered how much longer into the darkness. That question has reached the highest heavens, and my answer is manifesting in your physical form at this very moment. I'm not just a god of the once upon a time. I am the god of the right now. I am stepping into the chemistry of your blood, into the synapses of your brain, and into the marrow of your bones. That specific shadow that the doctors pointed out on the screen, the one that made your heart drop into your stomach, I am erasing it with a touch of my finger. I am rewriting the code that went wrong, repairing the cells that forgot their purpose, and breathing fire into the places that have grown cold and stagnant. You will feel a warmth, a gentle yet undeniable heat starting at the crown of your head, moving down past your brow, soothing the anxiety that has hummed like a broken wire in your mind for years. It is moving down your spine, unlocking the tension, and flowing into your limbs. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. The money you lost to this battle, the savings that drained away like water through sand. I have ways of returning it to you through doors you haven't even noticed yet. Your finances are not a puzzle to me. They are a provision I am about to overflow because I want you to live in the abundance I promised. You are not a burden to your family or to this world. You are not your diagnosis or the list of medications on your nightstand. You are my masterpiece, and a masterpiece is not meant to be covered in the dust of decay. I am blowing the dust away. I am making you whole, not just so you can survive, but so you can run with the wind. Think of the things you thought you'd never do again, the walks in the park without breathlessness, the mornings without the immediate reach for medicine, the ability to look at your future and see light instead of a hospital corridor. That is what I am handing back to you. This is the miracle of the sudden. It doesn't always need a process. Sometimes it just needs my word. And my word over you today is life. You have spent 87 days in the wilderness of your own body, but today the desert is blooming. Every ache that has become a familiar companion is being dismissed from your presence. I am clearing the fog from your mind that made you forget who you were before the pain began. You were a dreamer, a creator, a light bearer, and that person is coming back. I know you have felt forgotten, seeing others receive their breakthroughs while you sat in the waiting room of life. But your name has never left my lips. I have been holding your hand through every blood draw, every scan, and every disappointing phone call. The loneliness you felt was but a shadow, for I have been closer to you than your own breath. I am healing the trauma of the illness as much as the illness itself. I am washing away the fear of the next symptom, the fear of the next bill, and the fear of being left behind. You are moving to the front of the line now. This is a divine acceleration. What took years to break will take seconds to mend in my presence. Do not look back at the 87 days of struggle with bitterness. Look at them as the valley you have finally crossed. You are on the mountain now, and the air is clear. I love you with an everlasting love, a love that heals, a love that provides, and a love that will never, ever leave you in the dark again. I am turning your mourning into dancing and your sighs into songs of deliverance. Feel the strength returning to your hands. Feel the clarity returning to your vision. The chains of this chronic condition are melting like wax before a flame. You are free. You are whole. You are mine. Listen to the silence where the throbbing used to be. It is a holy silence, isn't it? For years, your internal monologue was a checklist of pain levels, a constant scanning of your body for the next flare-up. You became an expert in the language of suffering, a scholar of your own limitations. But now, I am teaching you a new vocabulary. I am speaking into the deep marrow of your bones, where the exhaustion used to hide. Can you feel the heavy iron cloak of fatigue sliding off your shoulders? It is hitting the floor with a sound you will soon forget. I remember the night 3 years ago when you sat on the edge of your bed, clutching a glass of water, wondering if this was all your life would ever be. I saw the way you looked at your old shoes in the back of the closet, the ones you haven't worn since the inflammation took hold. Go ahead, look at them now. They are no longer relics of a ghost. They are the equipment for your next season. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. Every birthday that felt like a funeral for your dreams is being reclaimed. I am breathing into your lungs a rhythm that is not dictated by medication schedules or the weather's pressure. Do you remember the scent of the garden after a summer rain? I am making your soul like that, drenched in freshness, vibrant and renewed. I saw the tears you shed when you had to cancel those plans, the way you apologized for being a burden until you started to believe you were one. Let me strike that lie from the record of your heart. You were never a burden. You were a masterpiece in the making, undergoing a refining fire that has left you with a gold-tested spirit. Now, the fire has done its work. Only the gold remains. I am reaching into the places where the trauma of the waiting room settled. I am clearing out the smell of antiseptic and the sound of white noise machines from your spirit. I am replacing the sterile coldness of clinical halls with the warmth of a hearth fire. I am touching your hands, those hands that have trembled with weakness, and I am infusing them with a creative surge you haven't felt since childhood. You will create again. You will build again. You will dance at weddings where you once thought you'd be sitting in the back, hidden by your frailty. I am aligning your spine so that you may stand tall, not just physically, but in the quiet confidence that you are deeply, irrevocably seen. Think of the woman at the well or the man by the pool. They had their before, and you are now living in your after. This is the threshold of the miraculous. The dawn is not just coming. It has broken over the horizon of your life, and the light is touching every dark corner of your history. I am rearranging the very atoms of your being to vibrate with the frequency of my joy. Notice the clarity in your mind. The brain fog that felt like a thick, gray wool is being burned away by the sun of righteousness. You can think clearly now. You can dream without the interruption of a headache. You can plan for next month, next year, and next decade without the "if I feel well enough" caveat. I am removing that "if." I am giving you a will. You will go. You will do. You will be. I am also healing the relationships that were strained by the weight of your illness. I am giving your loved ones a new way to see you, not as a patient to be managed, but as a light to be celebrated. I am pouring my grace into the gaps where frustration used to live. We are rewriting your story together, and the ink I am using is permanent and gold. This isn't a temporary reprieve. This is a foundational reconstruction. Every cell in your body is hearing my voice and coming into divine order. The exhaustion is being replaced by a supernatural stamina. You will run and not grow weary. You will walk and not faint. I am even touching the small things, the way your skin feels, the way your eyes sparkle, the way you can now hold a long conversation without needing to lie down. These are the ripples of the miracle. The stone has been cast into the pond of your life, and the healing is moving outward in every direction. Do you feel the lightness in your stomach? The knots of anxiety, tied tight by years of medical uncertainty, are being untied by my fingers. You are safe. You are secure. I have gone before you to make the crooked path straight. I am the architect of your recovery, and I do not do things by halves. I am completing the work I began. Let the peace that passes all understanding settle over you like a soft, warm blanket. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to receive. I am washing your memories of the emergency rooms and the hushed voices of doctors. I am filling those spaces with the sound of laughter, your laughter. It's a sound you haven't heard in its fullest expression for a long time, isn't it? It's deep, it's resonant, and it's coming back. I am restoring your appetite for life itself. The world will look more colorful tomorrow morning. The green of the trees will be deeper, the blue of the sky more piercing. You are seeing through the eyes of the restored. I am holding your heart in my hands, smoothing out the scars left by disappointment. You thought I had forgotten you, but I was just waiting for this perfect moment of divine intersection. This is your suddenly. This is your now. Keep breathing in my presence. Every breath is a testament to my power. Every heartbeat is a drumbeat of victory. We are just beginning this walk together, out of the shadows and into the blinding beauty of your new day. Think back to the things you tucked away in boxes, the hiking boots, the musical instruments, the travel brochures. You thought you were putting away your life, but you were only pausing it. I am the God who hits play. I am the God of the second wind. I am looking at the calendar of your future, and I see no more lost days spent in darkened rooms with the curtains drawn. I see sunlight on your face. I see you standing in the middle of a crowd, and for the first time in 87 days, you are not the most tired person in the room. You are the most vibrant. I am infusing your muscles with a strength that isn't just physical, but spiritual. You have learned a resilience in the dark that others will never know, and now you will use that resilience to lead others into the light. Your story is becoming a lighthouse. Every person who saw you struggle will now see you soar, and they will know that there is a God in heaven who hears the whispered help in the middle of the night. I am even healing the way you view time. You felt like you were falling behind, like your peers were miles ahead while you were stuck in a loop of symptoms. But I tell you, I am collapsing the distance. In 1 month of health, I will give you more fruit than 20 years of striving could have produced. I'm a master of the shortcut when it's for my glory. I am touching the very DNA that once carried the instructions for this condition. I am editing the code of your physical existence with the authority of the Creator. Where there was a no, I am writing a yes. Where there was a stop, I am writing a go. Feel the warmth moving down to your feet. Those feet that felt like lead are becoming like hinds feet. You will scale the heights. You will walk on the high places. I am removing the victim identity as if it were a soiled garment. You are a victor. You are a testimony. You are a living, breathing miracle. Every time you take a step without pain, let it be a prayer of thanks. Every time you wake up feeling refreshed, let it be a song of praise. I am with you in the mundane moments of your restoration. I am in the grocery store aisle where you no longer need to lean on the cart for support. I am in the kitchen where you are cooking a meal for the people you love, your energy sustained and overflowing. I am in the quiet of the morning when you realize the morning stiffness is gone. I am there, smiling at your joy. I am your father, and nothing gives me more pleasure than to see my child whole. I am weaving your future with threads of health, purpose, and unshakable peace. You will look back on this day as the great dividing line. There was the person you were before this moment, and there is the person you are becoming. The transition is complete. The bridge has been crossed. Now, walk into the expanse of the life I have prepared for you. It is wider and more beautiful than you ever dared to imagine. Feel the breeze on your skin. It is the breath of my spirit, cheering you on. You are not just surviving, you are beginning to thrive in a way that will baffle those who knew you in your illness. They will ask how, and you will point to me. They will ask when, and you will say in an instant. They will see the light in your eyes and know that the shadows have no more power over you. Your life is a garden I am tending, and the winter is officially over. The blossoms are appearing, and the time of singing has come. I am holding you close, and I am never letting go. Step now into the kitchen, the heart of the home that once felt like a distant country you could only visit in brief, exhausting intervals. Touch the cool granite of the countertop. Feel the solidity of the floor supporting your weight without a hint of the old, familiar protest from your joints. I am here in the mundane moments just as I was in the midnight cries. See that stack of books on the bedside table, the ones you could never focus on because the fog of pain was too thick. Pick one up. Notice how the words no longer dance or blur, but stand still, waiting to be absorbed by a mind that is finally clear. I have cleared the thicket of your thoughts, sweeping away the confusion that long-term suffering breeds. Your memory, which felt like a sieve, is being restored, catching the golden moments of the present. Do you remember the friend who stopped calling because they didn't know what to say to your suffering? I am preparing their heart for your return, not as a victim, but as a testimony. You will sit across from them, and the vibrant color in your cheeks will be the only explanation needed. I am recalibrating your senses to find joy in the smallest vibrations of life. The sound of the kettle whistling is no longer a harsh demand, but a song of invitation. The weight of your own body, which once felt like a leaden shroud, now feels light, like a garment made of silk and sunlight. I want you to look at your reflection, not with the critical eye of one searching for signs of decay, but with the wonder of a child seeing a miracle for the first time. The hollows under your eyes are filling with the rest I have given you in the secret place. The tension that lived in your jaw, the clenching that became your default state, has melted away under the warmth of my touch. I am taking the someday you clung to and making it your today. Think of the dreams you folded up and tucked into the back of a drawer, thinking they were too heavy for a broken vessel to carry. Go get them. Unfold them. They are not dusty. I have been keeping them clean for this very hour. You might feel a momentary flicker of fear, a habit of the soul expecting the other shoe to drop, but I am quieting that ghost. This is not a temporary reprieve or a fleeting high. It is a fundamental reconstruction. I have gone into the very architecture of your cells and whispered, "Peace, be still." And they obeyed. I'm even healing the way you perceive time. You felt you lost decades in that valley, but I am the master of the harvest. I can make 1 year yield the fruit of 10. I am compressing the joy of a lifetime into the seasons ahead of you, so that nothing is truly lost. When you walk through the grocery store and see the rows of ordinary things, do not be surprised if tears of gratitude spring up. To the world it is a chore. To you it is a victory march. Every step is a prayer. Every breath is a psalm. I am watching you discover the strength in your lungs, the way they expand fully now, drinking in the air as if it were wine. There is a specific person I am bringing across your path next week, someone who is currently where you used to be, trapped in a body that feels like a cage. You will not need to preach a long sermon to them. You will simply need to stand there, healthy and whole, and let the light of my work in you provide the hope they are starving for. Your restoration is not just for you, it is a beacon for the weary. I am weaving your days now with threads of spontaneous laughter. Do you remember how to laugh from the belly? Not the polite, tired smile, but the deep, resonant joy that shakes your shoulders. I am bringing that back. It will bubble up in the middle of quiet afternoons. I am also healing the relationships that were strained by the gravity of your illness. The caregivers who were worn thin, the children who learned to walk softly near your door, I am lifting the burden of sick from their shoulders as well. I am making your home a house of celebration rather than a house of recovery. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere? The very air in your rooms feels thinner, brighter, purged of the heavy scent of stagnant worry. I am opening the windows of your soul to the gales of my grace. You are learning to move again, not with the cautious, measured pace of the wounded, but with the fluid grace of the redeemed. I am in the muscles that are waking up, in the nerves that are finding their correct pathways, and in the heart that is beating with a new, rhythmic purpose. You are my masterpiece in progress, and the colors I am using now are the most vivid of all. Rest in this truth. I have not just fixed what was broken. I have made you better than you were before the trial began. The gold in the cracks of your life is what makes you priceless. We are just beginning this walk together, and the path ahead is paved with surprises that will make your heart leap. Do not look back at the valley. It is behind the mountain now. Keep your eyes on me and let's see how far your new strength can take you. There is a song you used to hum when the pain was at its peak, a melody of endurance. I want you to sing it now, but change the tempo. Let it be a song of victory. Notice how your voice sounds clearer, stronger, no longer thin and strained. I am restoring the very timbre of your expression. Think of the garden you left untended, the soil that became hard and dry while you were confined. We will go there together. You will find that the seeds I planted in the dark have been germinating all along. You thought it was a season of death, but it was a season of deep rooting. Now, as you reach for the spade, you will find that your hands do not tire as they once did. I am giving you the stamina for the beauty you are called to create. I am also removing the invisible no that has governed your life for so long. The no, I can't go there. The no, I can't eat that. The no, I am too tired. I am replacing them with a resonant yes. Yes to the invitation for dinner. Yes to the walk at sunset. Yes to the new project that requires your focus and energy. Do you see the way the light catches the dust motes in the air? Even they seem to be dancing for you. I am recalibrating your heart to recognize that you are no longer a patient, but a participant. The identity of the sufferer is falling away from you like an old, tattered cloak that no longer fits. You might feel a bit exposed at first, standing in the bright light of health without the shield of your illness, but I am your covering. You do not need the old labels to explain your life anymore. Let the mystery of your healing be a bridge for others to find me. I am even working on your sleep. No longer will you dread the pillow as a place of tossing and turning and counting the minutes until dawn. I am making your bed a place of divine encounter and profound refreshment. You will wake up not with a groan of, "How will I get through this day?" but with a sigh of, "What will we do today, Lord?" I am in the breakfast you prepare, the coffee that tastes richer than it ever has, and the quiet moments of planning your new future. I am widening your horizons. Look past the walls of your house, past the limits of your neighborhood. I have a world for you to see, and I am giving you the strength to traverse it. Every cell in your body is now singing a harmony of wholeness, and I am the conductor. Stay in this flow of grace. Do not rush to fill every moment with busyness, but savor the ability to move. Savor the absence of the ache. Savor the presence of my peace, which is now your constant companion. We have much to do, and the best part is, we will do it together, hand in hand, in the light of this new, miraculous day. The air in your room feels different now, doesn't it? It is no longer heavy with the scent of antiseptic and the oppressive weight of stale anxiety. It is crisp, carrying the faint perfume of the jasmine blooming outside your window, a fragrance you haven't truly perceived in years because your senses were occupied with the loud, demanding voice of your discomfort. Notice the way your feet find the floor this morning. There is a buoyancy there, a spring that feels foreign yet ancient, as if you are finally returning to the body I designed for you before time began. I am smoothing out the jagged edges of your memories. You remember the stairs as a mountain, a treacherous climb that required a map and a rest at every landing. Now, watch as they become merely a path, a simple transition from one space to another. I am with you as you descend, each step a rhythmic pulse of gratitude that vibrates through the floorboards. Walk toward that corner of the room, the one you've kept shrouded in a soft cloth to avoid the sting of what was lost. Unveil the easel. The brushes are dry, but the colors are waiting for your touch. Your hands, which once trembled or stiffened at the thought of a fine stroke, are now steady, guided by the same hand that paints the sunsets you so admire. I am restoring your creativity because joy is a vital part of your healing, and your expression is a vital part of my world. Think of the phone calls you didn't return, not out of malice, but out of a profound lack of energy. I am putting those names in your heart again. Reach out to them soon, not to complain or to explain the long silence, but to share the overflow of this light. Your voice will sound different to them. It will carry the resonance of one who has walked through the valley of the shadow and found that the shadow was merely a precursor to a more brilliant sun. In your kitchen, the light is dancing on the countertops, reflecting off the blue ceramic bowl you haven't used since the winter the illness took hold. You used to lean heavily against these counters just to boil water for tea. Now you stand tall, your posture aligned with the dignity of your spirit. Look at the ingredients in your pantry. They are no longer just fuel to keep a failing engine running. They are the elements of a feast. We will cook together today. We will celebrate the return of your appetite, not just for food, but for the richness of experience. I am in the sizzle of the pan and the steam rising from the cup. I am in the laughter that bubbles up from your chest, a sound that has been muffled for so long that you might have forgotten its melody. But I never forgot. I kept your laughter in a jar, and today I am pouring it back over you. Consider the garden you abandoned. The weeds have grown tall, yes, but beneath them, the perennials I planted years ago have been waiting. They are like your spirit, resilient, patient, holding their breath for this very season. Today we will not just pull weeds, we will rediscover the soil. Feel the earth between your fingers. It is a grounding, a reminder that you are a creature of my making, woven from the dust of the stars and the breath of my spirit. You are not a machine that has been repaired. You are a garden that has been watered after a long drought. Do not feel guilty for the years you spent in the dark. Those years were not wasted. They were the gestation period for the person you are becoming. Every tear you shed was collected. Every prayer, even the ones that felt like dry husks in your mouth, was heard and held. They formed the reservoir of grace that is now flooding your life. This is not a temporary reprieve. This is a foundational shift. The architecture of your existence has been redesigned. Where there were walls of limitation, I have placed windows of opportunity. Where there were doors locked by fatigue, I have installed gateways of vigor. As you step out onto the porch, look at the neighbor's dog barking at the fence. Usually, that sound would have grated on your frayed nerves, but now it is just part of the symphony of the living. See the mail carrier coming down the street. You are no longer waiting for test results or bills for treatments that didn't work. You are waiting for life. I have hidden treasures in the ordinary for you to find today. A specific conversation, a certain shade of green in the park, a memory that suddenly makes sense in the light of this wholeness. Your heart is beating with a new rhythm, untethered from the fear of the next flare or the next crash. That language is being erased from your vocabulary. We are writing a new lexicon together, one of endurance, vitality, and unshakable peace. Walk further today than you have in a decade. Let your lungs expand fully. tasting the air as if for the first time. The fatigue that used to settle in your marrow like lead has been replaced by a golden warmth. This warmth is my presence, moving through your circulatory system, clearing the debris of the past. When you pass the mirror in the hallway, do not look for the traces of the person who was tired. Look for the glint in your eyes that reflects my glory. You are a living testimony, a breathing miracle, and we have only just begun the first chapter of this new volume. Stay close to me in the stillness of this afternoon, for as the world speeds up around you, I want you to move at the pace of grace, not rushing, but flowing, perfectly synchronized with my heartbeat. We are heading toward a horizon you once thought was a boundary, but now you will see it is merely the beginning of the next great adventure. Step into the kitchen now, that space which was once defined by the rhythmic clicking of pill bottles and the heavy silence of a body too weary to nourish itself. Do you feel the difference in the way your hand reaches for the kettle? There is no tremor there, no calculation of how much energy this single movement will cost you for the rest of the day. I have erased the ledger of exhaustion that you used to keep so meticulously. That mental tally where every stair climbed was a debt to be paid in hours of recovery. Today, we are brewing something more than tea. We are steeping in the realization that your strength is not a finite resource to be rationed, but a river fed by my own eternal spring. Look out the window at the oak tree you've watched through seasons of confinement. You used to identify with its winter dormancy, feeling your own branches brittle and bare, fearing that the sap would never rise again. But now, look at the way the light catches the greening buds on the furthest limbs. You are that tree, drawing deep from the hidden waters I have redirected toward your roots. We will walk past the edge of the property line today, past the old mailbox where you used to stop to catch your breath, and toward the meadow that has been a distant painting in your mind for years. I want you to feel the uneven ground beneath your feet and marvel at how your ankles hold you steady. This stability is my hand beneath your heel. As you walk, let the memories of the gray years fall away like autumn leaves. Those years were not wasted, for I was with you in the shadows, catching every tear and recording every sigh, but they no longer define the boundaries of your world. Think of the hobbies you tucked away in the back of the closet, the paints that dried in their tubes, the hiking boots that gathered dust, the sheet music that went unplayed because your fingers were too stiff and your spirit too heavy. I am inviting you to reclaim them. Not all at once, for there is a sweetness in the slow rediscovery, but with the certainty that the capacity for joy has been fully restored. Do you hear the melody beginning to stir in your chest? It is a song of deliverance, a frequency that resonates with the very atoms of your being. I am retuning you, aligning your physical form with the vibrancy of your spirit. When you encounter your neighbors, and they see the color in your cheeks and the lightness in your stride, do not feel the need to explain the mechanics of the miracle. Simply let them see the peace that radiates from a soul that has been touched by the Creator. You are a living scroll, and every step you take is a word written in the ink of grace. This evening, we will sit on the porch and watch the sunset, not with the relief that another day of struggle is over, but with the eager anticipation of the tomorrow that I have already prepared for you. There is a depth of intimacy we are entering now, where you no longer ask why from a place of suffering, but what next from a place of wonder. Your body, once a source of betrayal, is now a temple of my indwelling light. Feel the way your heart beats, a steady, strong rhythm that echoes the cadence of my love. I am weaving your days together with threads of vitality, creating a tapestry of health that will surprise even the most cynical of observers. Do not be afraid of the strength you feel. It is not a temporary reprieve or a fleeting spark. It is the new foundation of your life. As the shadows lengthen, you will find that you no longer fear the night. The night was once a place of restless pain and anxious counting of the hours until dawn, but now it is a sanctuary of rest, where I will speak to you in dreams of the journeys we will take together. Your lungs, which once felt as though they were bound by tight cords, are now wide and free. Breathe in the scent of the damp earth and the blooming jasmine. These are the scents of your new reality. I have removed the scales from your perception so that you can see the miraculous in the mundane. Every glass of water you drink is a reminder of the living water I have poured into your parched soul. Every smile you offer to a stranger is a reflection of the joy I have rekindled in your heart. We are venturing into a territory where the old rules of your condition no longer apply. You are learning a new physics, the physics of my kingdom, where strength is perfected and where the last shall be first. You were the last in your own estimation, sidelined by a body that couldn't keep up, but now I have placed you at the forefront of my grace. Do you feel the lightness in your head? The fog that used to cloud your thoughts, making every decision a Herculean task, has been burned away by the sun of my righteousness. Your mind is sharp, clear, and focused on the beauty that surrounds you. Notice the weight of the cast iron skillet as you lift it. It feels lighter, doesn't it? Not because the metal has changed, but because your frame has been reinforced with a celestial iron. We will revisit the dreams you buried, the ones you thought were casualties of your chronic state. I am digging them up, dusting them off, and showing you that they were merely seeds waiting for this precise season of rain. The world will try to pull you back into the old narratives, asking about your symptoms and your limitations, but I want you to speak a different language. Speak of the unforced rhythms of grace. Speak of the God who restores the years the locusts have eaten. Your testimony is not just about the absence of pain, but about the presence of a power that makes all things new. Stay in this flow, this beautiful synchronization of my spirit and your flesh. We are dancing a new dance, and I am leading you into spaces of expansive freedom. The walls of your life have moved back, the ceiling has been lifted, and the sky is no longer a distant hope, but a playground for your spirit. I am with you in the quiet hum of your home, in the rustle of the wind through the curtains, and in the very pulse that vibrates in your fingertips. We are one in this miracle, and the path ahead is paved with the golden light of my favor, stretching out into a future where the word limitation is nothing more than a ghost of a memory. Feel the rhythm of your heart, no longer a frantic bird trapped in a cage of anxiety, but a steady drumbeat echoing the cadence of eternity. For years, you measured time by the intervals between doses, by the rise and fall of symptoms that dictated the very borders of your world. But look now at your hands. They do not tremble with the weight of invisible burdens. Look at the way you stand, your spine a pillar of strength where once it felt like a brittle reed bending in a relentless gale. I have gone into the very architecture of your being, into the delicate weaving of your DNA and the firing of your synapses, and I have spoken a word of peace, be still, to the storm that raged within your cells. This is not a temporary reprieve. It is a fundamental realignment. You are being recalibrated to the frequency of wholeness. Do you remember the chair by the window where you sat for so many seasons, watching the world move on without you? I want you to walk past it today. Don't look back at it with longing for the familiarity of your sorrow, but look at it as a monument to a closed chapter. Your life is no longer defined by what you cannot do, but by the infinite possibilities of what we will do together. Notice the sudden clarity in your eyes, the way colors seem more vibrant, as if a veil has been pulled back from the universe itself. The green of the leaves is deeper, the blue of the sky more piercing, because your own internal landscape has been cleared of the smog of chronic malaise. Even the air tastes different, sweet with the fragrance of a new beginning. I am teaching you how to carry this new strength, not as a fragile treasure you might break, but as a robust inheritance that is rightfully yours. When you move into your kitchen this morning, don't reach for the familiar crutch of habit or the hesitance of expected pain. Instead, move with the fluid grace of a creature made for the wild, for the open fields, for the high places. Your kitchen table, once a site of struggle where you barely had the energy to lift a cup, is now an altar of thanksgiving. Each mundane task, the pouring of water, the slicing of fruit, the simple act of breathing in the steam of your tea, is a liturgical dance of recovery. I see the tears that prick your eyes when you realize your legs do not ache, when you realize your mind is sharp and clear, free from the heavy clouds that once obscured your every thought. Those tears are holy. They are the washing away of the years of almost, and not yet. You are no longer living in the waiting room of your life. The door has been flung wide, and the great physician has declared you fit for the journey. Think of the people who will see you today. They will notice the change before you even speak. They will see a light in your countenance that wasn't there yesterday, a buoyancy in your step that defies their clinical expectations. You do not need to explain the mechanics of the miracle to them. Your very existence is the explanation. You are a living scroll, written upon by the finger of the living God. I am taking the fragments of your broken expectations and fusing them into a vessel that can hold more of my glory than you ever thought possible. The exhaustion that once lived in your very bones has been evicted, replaced by a marrow of joy. Can you feel it? It is a low, steady hum of vitality, a current of life force that flows from my heart directly into yours. We are not just fixing what was broken, we are upgrading your capacity to experience life. This health is not an end in itself. It is the platform upon which your true purpose will be built. You were kept in the dark for so long so that you would learn to recognize the light with unparalleled sensitivity. Now that the light has broken through the ceiling of your circumstances, you will use it to illuminate the paths of others who are still wandering in the shadows of their own infirmities. Every step you take today is a prayer of movement. Every breath is a song of praise. Do not fear that this will vanish like a dream upon waking. This is the waking. The long night of your illness was the dream. I have broken the fever of your soul. I have mended the invisible tears in your spirit. As you walk out your front door, feel the solid earth beneath your feet and know that it is firm, just as my promises are firm. The garden you neglected because the bending was too much, go there. Touch the soil. See the resilience of the seeds that waited under the dirt for the right season to bloom. You are that seed. Your winter is over. The rains of my mercy have soaked deep into your parched ground, and what is coming forth is a beauty that could only have been forged in the crucible of your endurance. We are weaving a new garment for you, one made of strength and gladness, replacing the heavy shroud of the patient. You are no longer defined by a diagnosis. You are defined by my delight in you. This miracle is a conversation between us, a secret shared in the quiet moments of your recovery, a testament that I am the God of the sudden shift, the Lord of the breakthrough. Relax into this. Let the tension drain from your shoulders. You no longer need to brace yourself for the next wave of pain. The tide has turned, and it is bringing in the riches of a life lived in full bloom. Listen to the silence of your body. It is no longer screaming for attention. It is whispering its gratitude. In this silence, you can finally hear my voice clearly, calling you forward into adventures you had long ago crossed off your list. The map of your life is being redrawn, and the no-go zones are now the very places I am sending you to explore. Your testimony will not be a whisper of what used to be, but a shout of what is now. We are just beginning to see the harvest of this healing, and the fruit will be sweeter than anything you have ever tasted. Walk to the window now and look at the world you thought you were merely observing from a distance. For years, you were a spectator of life, watching the seasons change through glass, noting the vibrant greens of spring and the fiery ambers of autumn with a heart that felt heavy, stalled, and sidelined. But now, the glass has vanished. Do you feel the coolness of the air on your skin? It is no longer a threat to your fragile equilibrium. It is an invitation. I have removed the invisible shroud that made every movement a calculated risk. Think back to the way you used to measure your energy in teaspoons, carefully rationing your strength just to make it through the afternoon, fearing the inevitable collapse that followed the slightest exertion. That economy of scarcity is over. I am introducing you to the economy of my abundance. Look at your hands. They no longer tremble under the weight of exhaustion or the phantom echoes of past tremors. They are steady, ready to build, to touch, to create, and to hold. I want you to go to that closet, the one you avoided because it held the relics of the person you used to be. The hiking boots with the dried mud from a decade ago, the vibrant clothes that felt too loud for someone living in the shadows of a sick room, the gear for hobbies you thought were retired forever. Pull them out. They are not costumes of a past life. They are the uniform of your future. I was there in the shadows with you, holding your hand through the long, fevered nights when the clock's ticking felt like a hammer against your temples. I heard every unspoken prayer, every "how much longer?" that died in your throat because you were too tired to even whisper it. Those prayers were never lost. They were seeds planted in the dark, moist earth of your endurance. And because the winter was so long and so deep, the roots have grown stronger than those who have never known the parched land of chronic suffering. You carry a resilience now that is forged in the fire, a strength that is not merely muscular but spiritual. When you walk into a room, you don't just bring your physical presence, you bring the atmosphere of a miracle. People will look at you and see a light they cannot quite name, a vitality that defies the medical charts they once studied with such grim faces. We are going to reclaim the terrain the enemy stole. Every milestone you missed, every celebration you watched through a screen or from a bed of pain, I am magnifying the joy of the ones to come. Think of the stairs you avoided, the ones that looked like an impassable mountain range. Tomorrow, we will climb them together, not with gasping breath and a pounding heart, but with a rhythmic, easy strength that will make you laugh aloud in surprise. I am rewriting your nervous system, recalibrating the way your mind perceives your body. The trauma of the pain, the way your brain learned to anticipate the strike before it even happened, is being washed away by the river of my peace. You are being de-traumatized by my love. This is not just a physical restoration, it is a soul-deep renovation. I am clearing out the cobwebs of "I can't" and the dust of "I'm not able." Your vocabulary is undergoing a holy transformation. Perhaps is becoming yes. Maybe one day is becoming today. Do you remember the plans you made when you were a child? The ones that were so big and colorful they didn't fit in the boxes of the world. I haven't forgotten them. I kept them safe for you while you were in the wilderness, tucked away in the palm of my hand. Now, we are dusting them off. You might feel a strange sensation today, a lightness in your chest that feels almost like fear, but it is actually the birth of a new kind of courage. It is the feeling of a bird realizing the cage door has not just been unlocked, but removed entirely. There is no going back to the cage. Even the memory of the bars is beginning to fade like a dream upon waking. I want you to practice your freedom. Start small if you must, but start. Taste your food and really notice the complexity of it, for your senses are no longer dampened by the thick fog of malaise or the side effects of survival. Listen to the music you used to find too overwhelming or too poignant. Let the bass resonate in your bones without triggering a flare. I am in the vibration of the strings and the rhythm of the drum. This miracle is a loud no to the limits the world placed upon you and a resounding yes to the destiny I wrote for you before time began. We are going to visit the places you crossed off the map. Not just physical locations, though there will be those, but emotional landscapes of joy, intimacy, and unbridled creativity. You thought your best years were a closed book, a finished chapter you could only look back on with nostalgia. I am the author, and I tell you, we have only just finished the preface. The real story begins now, with a stride that is sure and a heart that is wide open. Do not be afraid of the energy bubbling up inside you like a hidden spring finally breaking the surface. It is not a manic surge that will leave you crashed by sunset. It is the steady flow of the vine into the branch. Abide in this. Let the realization sink into your marrow. You are well. You are whole. You are mine, and my glory is being revealed in the very flesh that once felt like a prison. The world will ask you for your secret, and you will smile, a slow, deep, knowing smile of one who has walked through the valley of the shadow and found that the shepherd was not just a guide, but a restorer of the soul and the body. Let's go outside now. The sun is up, the air is waiting, and there is a path through the woods that has been longing for the sound of your footsteps. Step across the threshold now. Feel the transition from the enclosure of four walls to the limitlessness of the sky. Notice how the floorboards no longer groan under a weight of exhaustion, but seem to rise up to meet your feet with a rhythmic, supportive pulse. For years, this doorway was a boundary, a finish line you could barely reach, or a portal to a world you could only observe through glass. But today, the door yields to your touch like a secret whispered in the dark. The handle, once a cold and heavy obstacle for stiff fingers, feels light, almost eager to turn. As you step onto the porch, the air hits you, not as a harsh intruder, but as a long-lost friend rushing to embrace you. Breathe it in. Really breathe. Do you feel that? There is no catch in your chest, no sudden wall of resistance in your lungs. The air travels deep, down into the hidden chambers of your being, carrying the scent of damp earth and coming rain, oxygenating the very hopes you had buried under layers of clinical diagnoses. I was there, in every one of those sterile rooms. I sat beside you on the crinkled paper of exam tables, hearing the heavy silence of doctors who had run out of answers. I saw the way you stared at the ceiling in the small hours of the morning, counting the shadows and wondering if this narrow existence was all I had written for you. I felt the sting of every needle and the weight of every pill that promised relief, but delivered only a foggy haze. Those days were not wasted. They were the winter of your soul, the necessary dormancy before this explosive spring. Look at your hands as the sunlight catches them. The tremors have vanished, replaced by a stillness that is not the absence of life, but the perfection of it. Your skin, once pale with the fatigue of the fight, now glows with a vitality that comes from the inside out. Reach out and touch the railing. Feel the grain of the wood. You are connected to the physical world again, no longer an island of suffering in a sea of health. Your body is not an enemy to be managed. It is a temple I am currently redecorating with the colors of joy. I want you to look toward that old armchair visible through the window, the one where you spent 1,000 afternoons wrapped in blankets, watching the clock. It is just a piece of furniture now. Its power over you is broken. The patient you were has been consumed by the beloved you are. As we move toward the grass, feel the strength in your calves and the fluidity in your knees. There is no grinding, no fire, no sharp reminder of limitation. There is only the symphony of muscles and tendons working in the harmony I originally intended. Can you hear the birds? They are not just singing to the morning. They are singing for the arrival of someone who has returned from a long journey. The woods are calling, and for the first time in an age, Your body agrees with your spirit's desire to explore. Remember the hiking boots at the back of the closet, the ones thick with the dust of a decade. They were a prophecy you didn't know you were keeping. In your heart, you always knew this day was a possibility, even when your mind tried to protect you with the armor of cynicism. You don't need that armor anymore. The vulnerability of being well is a beautiful thing. It means you can be moved by the beauty of a dragonfly's wing or the curve of a leaf, without the static of pain drowning out the experience. Walk further now, past the garden beds where the weeds have grown tall. Do not look at them with guilt for what you couldn't do. Look at them as a canvas. You have the strength now to pull them, to plant new life, to create a sanctuary that reflects the restoration happening within your own marrow. Every step you take is a prayer of thanksgiving that I am answering in real time. This is not a dream from which you will wake to the old, familiar ache. I have rewritten the code of your cells. I have breathed into the dry bones and commanded them to live. The world will try to give this a name, a remission, a fluke, a medical mystery. But you and I know it is the signature of the Creator. We are heading toward the trailhead now, where the canopy of oaks creates a cathedral of green. Do you remember the last time you walked beneath these trees? You were a different person then, burdened by a future that looked like a narrowing tunnel. Now the tunnel has collapsed, and you are standing in a meadow of infinite potential. There is a specific rock by the stream, worn smooth by the water, where I want us to sit for a moment. But we won't sit because you're tired. We will sit because the beauty is so thick it demands your full attention. Your life is no longer about survival. It is about significance. Every breath is a gift, every movement a miracle, and I am the giver who never tires of seeing you unwrap it.